What's with the hot and sticky weather? Are we in San Diego or Buffalo? Meteorologist Alex Tardy with the National Weather Service is here with the latest. Alex, what kind of weather can we expect this weekend?
Hi, thanks for having me on the show. We're looking at a heat wave coming into Southern California. It's not just because it's summertime, but we're looking at temperatures 5 to 10 degrees above normal for several days. So this weekend all the way into early next week. So our normal marine layer that cools us off won't be around.
So what's happening with the humidity then?
So the humidity is going to increase, and that's moisture that's going to come up from Mexico. Right now you can see that in the form of some clouds forming over the mountains. And so the moisture comes directly up from Mexico, and you combine that with the big dome of high pressure, which gives us the hot temperatures, shut off the marine layer, squash those marine clouds that cool us off. That gives us the excessive heat, and that's what we're going to see all the weekend into early next week.
In what respect are hot and sticky summers becoming the new normal in San Diego?
It's a good question, because some of the research is showing, especially our warm nighttime temperatures and our warm sea surface temperatures, which really feed those warm nighttime temperatures so you don't cool off much at night. Studies are showing that we're seeing more of that as we go through the summer. We just got out of the warmest year on record, 2014 into 2015, so even our daytime temperatures are starting to show a trend upwards.
Alex, let's shift gears for a moment. Your agency's Climate Prediction Center says all of its computer models are predicting the high likelihood of an El Nino this winter. Let's take a look at this monitor. Could you describe what we're seeing there?
So what we're comparing here is two seasons. So on the left, 1997-98, that was the big El Nino. That was the benchmark. That was the year where we had very warm conditions in the equatorial Pacific Ocean, as shown there in the whites and the reds. What resulted was a lot of rain in California. Big storms, a lot of storms all up and down the coast of California. On the right-hand side, we're showing the warming that started early this spring. Really, we've been looking at warming for the past 2 years, but it really got going this spring. And now, the latest image there, August 5th, we're seeing the temperatures almost match what we saw in 1997-98. Also notice, though, there's warm water already in the northern Pacific and the eastern Pacific, and that's been labeled as the blob. So we have two things going on. Warm water in the eastern Pacific, California coast, and also a big area of warm water like we saw in 97-98 in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. That's the El Nino phenomenon down the equatorial Pacific Ocean.
How much rainfall can San Diego expect to get if this El Nino hits?
The El Nino is developing, it's forming. It looks like it's going to become strong as we go into the fall. We're looking at above normal rainfall. So our normal rainfall is around 10 inches. So if you want to put a value to it, we're looking at rainfall more in the category of 12, 14 inches of rain. That's over the course of the whole winter, so October like through April time frame, but that's more than we've seen in years. The last time we had a wet year was back in 2010, 2011. And that was just a little bit above normal. Most of that fell in December.
Now, there are certainly upsides to getting a lot of rainfall. What are some of the downsides?
So the downsides is when you don't get a break from the storms, you get erosion on your coast, you get erosion on the beaches, you get too much runoff, you get debris flows, sometimes not even just fire scars, you get debris flows off the mountains, landslides, that type of thing. You get urban flooding. And in some cases, you get river flooding. San Diego River, for example, where you see, flooding of the mall area and some closures.
Getting back to this weekend's weather, what are your concerns about as the summer progresses and the dangers of the fire year?
Yeah, so before we kind of get ahead of ourselves, because we talk about El Nino, we talk about the winter, but before we even get into the winter, regardless of the El Nino, we have to deal with our normal Santa Ana winds and the normal dryness that we have. Unfortunately, it's abnormal because we're talking about 4 years of drought. So we got to get through October, and that's going to be when we're holding our breath, because right now it's bad enough that we're in a drought. Conditions are very sensitive to any fire start. You throw some wind on top of that, not just warm temperatures, you throw wind on top of that in the fall, and you can have some very large fires. So we got to take it one step at a time. Hot weather this weekend, the warm, dry Santa Anas in the fall, and then we're going to get El Nino rains, at least for Southern California.
Okay, Alex Tardy, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.